Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here with episode 95. And tonight I am joined by a great friend of our show, a producer of the show, Mr. Das Blevins. Blevins, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing well, Scala. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. 2 shows in a row.
Dude, it's like I won the lottery. And not only is it a good show, but the guest you have on tonight, as you know, is like one of my favorite guests of all time.
Oh, Dan Mendoza?
No.
Oh.
I do like
Dan Mendoza.
then? I mean, can I do the introduction?
I think you should.
That'd be great if I could do the introduction.
Please, by all means.
One of the people that were there when the image craze started, one of the biggest Kickstarter guys out there, the king of homage covers, Mr. Marat Mychaels.
Marat, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
We're doing well, man. We're doing very well. What a lovely introduction, Blevins. Did that come off the tip of the tongue, or is that written down?
No, it definitely came off the top. You kind of surprised me with that. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. You basically forced me to do it. It's so weird. I can't see your face, Blevins. I can't see your facial expressions. But anywho, yeah. Marat, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing really good, man. Pretty excited that you got another campaign going.
And doing it again.
Yeah, fulfilled in 7 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Is that the record right now for your campaigns?
No, we did. We had one that we did in 2 minutes. So we're actually behind, I guess. But I'll take it. 7 minutes to hit our goal. That's freaking fantastic. I think right now we're over 500% of what we were asking. So yeah, super excited, man.
That's incredible.
Awesome. Fantastic. So now how many Kickstarters is this for you?
Oh, that's a good question. Shit. Am I allowed to say shit?
You can say shit. Yeah. You can say anything you want.
Oh shit.
I got to take one on that
out. I think 7 now. This is our 7th one. Yeah.
7 successful one, just back to back. Boom, boom, boom.
7 or 10? 10. Frank Amazing's saying you did 10. 11.
Really? You did that many?
I'd say 12. Let's just keep throwing them out there.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to log in and I'm going to tell you.
It shows Counterpoint Comics.
10 created. Counterpoint Comics right there.
And then he did one on his own.
No, you guys are right. Hey.
Yeah, right there. Boom.
Nice.
Frank Amazing for the win. And see, Blevins, that's why he's Frank Amazing.
He knows
not
everything.
Frank Good, not Frank Incredible, not Frank Okay. Frank Amazing.
That's awesome. We had a discussion earlier if Incredible was better than Amazing. And Nile thought that Incredible was better than Amazing. I was like, there's no way, because like they have Amazing Fantasy and Amazing Spider-Man. They've never had an Incredible Spider-Man.
I'm going to have to agree with that. I'm a Spidey guy over a Hulk guy, so we're going to go with that.
Uh-oh. Yeah. We got a Marvel team up right now against you, Scala.
I like Batman. So where were we? So this is your now 11th campaign. So you have 28 days to go. You launched yesterday, right?
Yesterday, yep.
So right around this
time. So we're at about 24 hours.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. $15,407. Yeah. So give us some details on this book now.
Okay, so this is Notti and Nice, obviously a book that I talked about before on the show. This is a one-shot spin-off with Notti, and it's basically a self-contained story, even though we actually started planting the seeds for this story in the Notti and Nice Christmas special that leads into the story. And it's basically Notti on the trails of a serial killer that nobody knows exists except her.
So very cool.
Yeah, so,
is this your first spin-off book?
Well, Battle Fairy and the Yeti was kind of a spin-off book from Notti and Nice, but this is the first one-shot with one of the characters. And like I was talking to you guys before, it basically just happened because I was watching some hip-hop retrospective, and Notti by Nature came on, and I was like, the hell did I not think of this before? What a great name for the book I have. So
Like, I'm down with OPP.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not. I will get in trouble. You're not getting me in trouble with my girl.
It's other
But I do like the song.
other people's pictures, right? Other people's pictures. You do
Exactly.
homage covers, so
Other people's pencils.
other people's
There you go. Other people's
There you
pencils.
go.
Yeah.
So have you had anyone new working on this project? You know, I'm scrolling through the campaign here. I'm seeing names. Usually you always have just a great bunch of artists doing different covers for you. Anyone new on this campaign?
The only really new thing is Sanju, who is kind of color is supreme that everybody's after. He colored a bunch of these covers for us. He's actually drawing his first cover, so that's going to be a mid-campaign fulfillment for us. But besides that, you know, I know what, you know, my fans like and fans of the book like, and I usually try to stick to that. You know, give them what they want. Like,
And I looked through all these earlier, and what he's going through right now. Is this the first time you've done the gold variants? Like, maybe I just haven't seen that before on your Kickstarters. Have you done that before?
we've done gold variants, but this is the first time we've done the one of ones. So basically, what we're doing is we're taking, let's say you're looking at the DeBalfo cover on the screen right now.
Which
We're
is
making one nice and one naughty version. They're going to say one of one right on the cover. And they're going to be gold medal, and that's it. That's the only ones that are ever going to exist. So the person who orders it, that's why it's called the once in a lifetime tier. The person that orders that, he's the only one who'll ever have those books. We'll never make them again. So
oh wow, and they get one and one with that tier.
yeah, you get one nice and one naughty version.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was
That
cool.
is cool.
I mean, the thing that I always try to do is I'm a kind of student of the game, so to speak.
Yep.
I look at everybody else's campaigns, the ones that are successful, and you know, I get out to a bunch of shows. I talk to the fans, and I listen to what they say, and you know, just like I said, you know, I'm a firm believer. You cater to your base.
Yeah.
You give them what they want. You don't try to shove things down their throat that they don't want. You know, people who like Naughty and Nice and Battle Fairy and all that stuff. You know, they like certain artists that draw hot chicks, and you know, they happen to be buddies of mine and people I like working with. I become very big as far as cutting to people that are difficult and using the people that are easy to work with and produce great work. And you know, also good to fans at conventions. I've had a few people that I've worked with, and I won't mention names, but you know, conventions, and they kind of act like the fans are an afterthought.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Billy Tucci, right?
Huh? I know.
Billy
I want
Tucci.
him to come on his own show because I'm here.
He's like, oh, that goody two shoes.
Yeah.
Marat's on the show. I'm not doing that.
Right?
He's like, I'm sick. Cough, cough.
Yeah, that guy. So you know, so that's another thing, man. I'm huge. I talk to Brian Polito all the time. We talk about how you gotta, you know, your fans are your lifeblood. You know, they're the ones who make all this possible. So you gotta make sure you're giving them what they want, and also, you know, treating them like they deserve to be treated. You know, so that's what we try to do.
That's fantastic. Now, I know, you know, you and Brian are pretty close. You know, you guys talk a lot and things like that. Now, I always think he's a great example of, like, you know, who to follow and how they're doing things. Obviously, you know, for anyone starting out, you can't do what he's doing, right? But I think it's a good model. You know, it's obviously you tone yours down to what you can afford and what you can do, but kind of really model that, like, you know, customer comes first. We're going to give you great stuff. We're going to listen to what, you know, our fans like and really pay attention and keep delivering and delivering. And it appears that you're doing that same kind of model. It's just, you know what the fans like, you know what you like, you're putting it out. And then with each campaign, like with the gold covers, like now that's even more personal for someone. Like, yeah. I can be the one person to own this, you know, from Counterpoint.
Exactly. You know, and then we know guys like Mike DeBalfo and Bill McKay and Ryan Kincaid and all the other guys that we have in the tier. You know, they have huge fan bases, guys who love their work, guys who want to own something super rare.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all collectors, so you guys know. You kind of always want to have something your buddy doesn't. That's kind of part of it. Like, oh, look what I got.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's something that you can tell everybody. Look what I got, because there's the only one that exists.
Yeah, and especially like in the world of crowdfunding, because you become, you're more accessible to your fans. If a fan wants to message you, they can message you, and more than likely you will reply if time permits.
Yeah, I try to interact as much as possible. And yeah, I mean, I'm not thanks, Lee. You're awesome, brother. Appreciate you. No, I'm not name dropping. He just happens to be a buddy of mine. I talk to Rob Liefeld all the time.
Yeah.
And he is totally in the belief, like myself, that the new age we're in, crowdfunding is the way to go, because it is a direct conduit to your fans. And you can interact with them directly. And I think comic stores are great, and God bless them. That's this industry. They're the backbone of the industry. But there's everything's changing all the time with social media, and this is a way to just have a direct stream, to your fan base. Which again, we've talked about this on the show. If you're a comic book store owner and you only have X amount of dollars, you're going to buy your Marvel, your DCs. You're going to kind of go for the pop culture that everybody, knows. You're not going to have a lot of money to, try product to put on the shelves. So this is a way for us to be able to put that product out there. And, and also we live in the Amazon Prime and Amazon Now age. People just want things showing up to their house. I know a lot of people who don't even want to leave the house.
I don't know. I feel like comic book fans, though, like true comic book fans, want to go out there because it's like twofold. They kind of want to see what's on the rack. They want to go and BS at the shop. It's like Cheers. They come in, it's like, hey, Norm.
Yeah, but it's weird. There's two types, because I believe that, but I also think there's the guy that wants to sit at home, get his stack of books, and when the convention comes to town, he can then take his stack of books, go get them signed, go get them stamped, submit them for grading, get remarks. I think there's almost like two businesses that are running congruent right now, in my opinion.
No, I agree. And just on another topic, I just have to ask, because I know you're good friends with Rob Liefeld. Has he ever said like, hey, this guy from Crowdfunding Comments bothers me all the time?
Oh yeah. No, you're there. Rob has a top 10 list of people he hates.
It's gotta be me.
No, you're number 3.
Number 2 or 3?
3. You're climbing. A few more comments, you might be number 1.
You might actually have a chance. You got a shot at the title now.
I'm like, hey, Rob, that's a great point you put up. Hey, why don't you come on the show and talk about it? Then the next day, wow, yeah, that's awesome too. Why don't you come on the show and talk about it? I won't go.
I'll mention it.
Oh, I'm not really on the list?
Oh.
There isn't a list. If there is, it's in his head, and I don't know about it.
We're public open. But anywho, so where was I? Because I really thought I was on the list. No, I just lost my train of thought. Blevins, questions away, buddy, because I just lost my train of thought.
So Marat, you have a huge pedigree. Been in comics forever. I mean, like literally, you are. People can look at all your work and see how the student has become the master. Literally, like you just are an icon when it comes to that. So, I mean, do you think being in the comic books and actually caring about the comics, like there's a lot of people that know how to draw. There's a lot of people that know how to do art. Do you think that the one up you have is the fact that you do care about the comics?
Well, I mean, obviously that. I think but when people are like, oh, how are your Kickstarter successful, or what do you do? And I'll tell them, it's not a secret. Yeah. Just because somebody knows how to do something doesn't mean they can do it. And that doesn't speak to somebody's talent. That just speaks to, you got to have drive. You got to have vision. You got to connect. You got to figure out what your fans want from you. That's what I tell everybody, you know.
I mean, you're also a business guy. I mean, like you could see, like, don't you have a tier for like a store tier for somebody
Yeah.
who wants to get the books for the store? Like that's not something that you see normally on other Kickstarters when it comes to comic books.
Well, I'm a huge believer in the ecosystem of comics. I think there's plenty of money for everybody to make if you do it right. So I actually personally, the fans always have a direct connection to me. They can email, you know, they can message me, they can email us at Counterpoint Comics, they can Facebook message me. Like I said, I try to answer as many as I can. So you can always reach out to me directly to try to get the books for me. If I have them in stock, I'll be, you know, happy to sell and ship. But I think there's some guys that hate seeing other people make money off their product, which I don't understand. If I set a price, if I say a book is $20 and I sell it to you for $20 and you can sell it for $100, good for you. I set my price. If I want $100 for it, I would have said it's $100. So I think, you know, there's guys who kind of hate that. Like, oh, this guy made money off me. I just don't think like that. I think it's an ecosystem. Everybody has to eat. The more that retailer makes, the more he's going to come back and buy more of my product because he's making money off my product. And so to me, the retailer's my friend. You know, so that's why I put those tiers in, because I have retailers reaching out all the time. You know, so that's why we put those tiers in. They're you know, uber successful. It's also a good kind of a cheaper way for a retailer or for somebody starting out to get their first variant. Which, you know,
A unique variant just for them.
Yeah, exactly. It's their, you know, it's their opportunity. Marvel, you have to drop, you know, probably about 10,000 to get your own variant if you even get approved.
Yeah. Real Dr. Venkman asks, will your books be made available at local comic shops?
It's something we're looking into, but honestly, just like I said before, our product is so far down their must-carry list for most stores that, you know, making it available through Diamond, we just would not. Yes, Alan, you do bug the heck out of me all the time, and I love you for it.
Oh, this is the Alan you always talk about? No, I'm just joking.
He's
that's
on.
That's the Alan.
No, you know, so it's something we've looked into. We probably, if we're going to do it with anything, we have a book called Pray for the Sinner, which was our previous Kickstarter, and our next Kickstarter for number 2.
Nice.
I think that would be the one. Because I think that one kind of retailer, you know, Naughty and Nice is awesome and it's fun, but, you know, a retailer can't really have that out with his, you know, Spider-Man and his Superman, you know, when the freaking 6-year-old kid comes in with his mom, you know, or, you know, so I think, and Pooh is just such a niche market, you know, we keep the print run so low, but Pray for the Sinner, that's probably the one that'll wind up going into comic stores. And then we have a couple of other titles that we have planned for 2021 that will probably be local comic store worthy.
That's awesome. You're going to do Pray for the Sinner because that's your, I mean, that's your baby. That's your, like, that's your pride and joy right there. Like, that's,
it is.
To have your deal there, you know?
Yeah. And we've gotten really great response from it. I mean, maybe the funniest one was from Dietrich Smith, the artist. We do the books, you know, Marvel style, which is I'll send him the plot and then he'll send the pages and then I'll adjust the script to how he laid out the pages, which is more of a Marvel style of story. So he called me right after he got his comps and he was like, "Hey man, this book is really good." And I was like, "Oh, well, thanks, but you drew it." And he was like, "Yeah, but I read it and it's really good." So, and Dietrich hates everything. So I was like, if Dietrich likes it, we might have something good on our hands. So, and I've gotten a lot of really positive response for the story, which again, Naughty and Nice is just kind of this crazy, goofy, off the wall, fun book that we do. Obviously, Pooh and Hardly Thin are our parody books, and Pray for the Sinner was like really like, all right, I'm gonna go out there and really put it on the line and see what people think. And I was,
it's great.
and
I got my copy
Yeah.
what was it, a few weeks ago or something, or maybe like I don't know when I got it. It wasn't too long ago I received it,
No,
because
no.
you're good with that. Like you'll have your campaign, then you receive your book, and then a couple weeks later, a new campaign's ready to roll out.
Well,
You've got everything spaced out really well.
that's kind of our thing. We try to deliver, Pray for the Sinner was a tiny bit late. We ran into some weird problems that we've never had with any other campaigns, but we delivered it pretty close to when we promised to deliver. That's a big thing with us at Counterpoint. We really want to get you your books, and I'm also very cognizant of the fact that if I just took some of your money until you have what you gave me your money for, I'm not going to ask you to give me more money. Like to me, it's like once I give you what I owe you, then I can ask you to support something else.
Yep.
I'm not going to ask you to support another one of my projects if you haven't even received what I already owe you. So,
Yeah. And then real Dr. Venkman, I'm all for independent books, but I wish to also support my LCS. Yeah, you got to continue supporting your local comic shop.
Yeah, of course.
It's two separate markets. Independent creators, like Marat and other guests we have on the show. I mean, this is their business. Distribution's a whole nother animal, and a whole nother cost and things that are involved. So by supporting the independent creators like this and letting them build up their Kickstarters or Indiegogos, whatever they're doing, you're giving them that kickstart, right? To hopefully continue growing enough where they can say, all right, we're making enough money. Our fans are buying exclusive stuff that they can get through these campaigns. And then you can probably look at maybe distribution in the future. So keep supporting both, Mr. Venkman. Support both. And
Yeah.
TJ James. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marat.
No, and I'm like, I go to a comic store. I try to get to the store at least once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, there's still mainstream books I follow. I enjoy the IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff still, and I enjoy my Batman stuff. And I'll always do that and support that. TJ James asks, "Hey, is Marat doing Terrificon this year?"
Marat is doing Terrificon this year.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I got a buddy of mine who runs a Facebook group that's done tons of Pooh variants. Has got a big booth, and he just invited me to appear at his booth this year. So I will definitely be at Terrificon.
Terrificon this year is pretty insane. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, that's my local convention, the big one for me. Well, there's two here, but Terrificon's the best of the two. Sorry if anyone who produced the other one's listening. But he's like really killing it this year.
Yeah,
Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor. If you're into Justice League and Batman the Animated Series, as far as that's concerned, he has like every voice actor coming, and just creators out the ass like yourself. Now that you're going to be coming, right?
Yeah, no, it's it's a cool show. It's a really cool show. I enjoy it. It's a great crowd, and it's a cool kind of old school comic book convention vibe in the best of ways. It really centers around comics, even though they have celebrities. It really does have a great feel of a comic book show.
Yeah, so. And there's one green room like for everybody, so you don't get like shoved to the side in a little room while celebrities get the best of it. No, it's a fun show. Is it the gentleman you're talking about? Is that the guy with the beard and the long hair?
Robert Good?
Nope, that's not what I'm thinking of.
Different guy?
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different guy.
Oh, you're thinking about Steve McDonald.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. That's the one. Yeah.
No, Steve's one of my buddies.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Robert Wood. Not Good. Best Comics.
Oh, Robert Wood. Okay, Robert Wood. I know of. Yes. Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think he actually bought some stuff from us when we used to do the auction show. Robert Wood. But anyways, that's a long time ago. We got another question here, asking if you still do your signatures for free.
I've started charging $5 a signature.
Okay.
It just became it just became one of those things where people would bring stuff to get signed. There'd be facilitators. There'd be guys who are going to flip the stuff, and they'd have big stacks, and it just got to a weird point where I was trying to charge those guys, but then not fans, and then it just kind of became this weird thing. So I was like, you know what, $5 isn't a lot. I'll sign.
So they ruined it for everybody, just like.
And honestly, I got to be honest. The thing that people don't think about. So a lot of us make, a bunch of our yearly income at doing these shows. And so when I'm at the show, well, interacting with fans is obviously super important, and I love doing it. Anybody who's met me at a show will tell you I always, find time and engage. If I have a commission and I have to finish that commission, but I have to stop to sign stacks of books, that takes away time for me doing that commission.
Yeah.
And there's only X amount of time in the day. So it's just one of those things, and I've honestly, I haven't had, too many people complain about it. Like I said,
you're catching up now because majority of people do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And even if they're not charging personally, sometimes they charge for, maybe they're doing a charity or something, and they'll bring like a little thing.
Yeah,
right, you want a signature, throw $5 into this thing, or to me personally, I think, like you're saying, you're making a good chunk of your income for the year comes from going. That's why you're doing these shows, right? To meet your fans, see them, commissions. I mean, you get some income from it. So if you're there signing all these books for free and not getting commissions done and doing things for your fans, unfortunately, you're making someone happy, but you're hurting yourself at the same time.
And honestly, if you're a superstar in this industry or a star, you get brought out to every show. But there's a bunch of shows where you have to pay your way, and you have to, you get comped the table.
Yep.
And you pay for your plane ticket, and you pay for your whatever travel if you're driving, or you pay for your hotel room, and all that stuff costs money, and so it's not like somebody's giving us all a nice appearance fee and then fly us out first class and set us up. The stuff costs money, and so we it is the capitalism of comics, which is what it is. It's like I said, I will interact with you and talk to you and hang out and chill and wax poetic and tell you stories, and that's never going to cost you a penny. Take pictures, all that stuff, but if I have to put down what I'm doing,
you get pretty swamped at those shows.
Yeah, you've seen it sometimes,
Oh yeah, I've gone up to you and you're like, you show me your list. I'm like, holy crap, the convention's only been open for like 3 hours, and it's like you've got this massive list. It's like, all right, well, I guess you can't come out to dinner tonight.
No, that's it. And I'm a guy who stays at the table. It's not like I go, I'm taking 3 hours away from the show to go to my room and bang out a few commissions. I'm a guy who stays at the table, and I'm available to anybody who happens to come by. What's up, Victor? How you doing, brother? So I'm there. It's a work day for me kind of approach. So I just, it is what it is. Like I said, at first I felt awkward about it, but now it's kind of like you said, everybody does it. So I started doing it.
Yeah, no shame in that, man. No shame in that at all.
I got bills too.
What's that?
I got bills too.
Nah, you don't have bills, dude. You make comics. You're a millionaire. Yeah. All comics creators are millionaires.
All of them. Every one of them.
Every one of them. But so now, what's that?
I'm a thousandaire.
You're a thousandaire. There you go. What does Billy say? It's the industry where you can make hundreds of dollars or something like that. So let's get back to Naughty by Nature here. What are you looking at for a fulfillment timeline on this?
We're looking at April.
Fantastic.
As the final color pages are, I had some pages that need to be reworked, so the colors adjusting those. So we're pretty much done with the book. and the Kickstarter ends in March 5th, I believe.
Yep, March 5th.
Yeah, so we're looking at like mid to late April fulfillment.
Wow.
Yeah, we get it done. If you fill out your backer kit or CrowdOx surveys and get those to us, we're gonna get these books out to you. So
Wow, that's fantastic. That's incredible timing. Like you wouldn't shit if you're doing books like that. You could you don't even need a distributor.
yeah, I mean,
You are your own distributor at that point. Holy smokes.
yeah, kind of. I mean, a volume at some point.
Mm-hmm.
If I was look, we're doing fantastic.
Yeah.
145 backers to hit 15,000 is insane.
Yeah.
But that's 145 backers. If we started getting into the 400, 500, 600 and above mark, we'd probably need more time to fulfill everything. So things could change. But again, I'm just I'm a firm believer. People pay you. You got to deliver the product, and the sooner you deliver it, the better it is for everybody involved.
Mm-hmm. Now, on this project, you did the script for it, correct?
Yeah, I wrote the story. Yeah.
You wrote the story, but you didn't do any of the pencil work, inking, or coloring.
Nope.
Are you finding you're getting more into the writing and less into the drawing with your books as you're moving forward?
I think I'm having a little more fun with it from the perspective of I haven't done that for 30 years.
Yeah.
I've drawn for 30 years. So, but at the same time, I think it's because I have a book called Blindside, which was a comic that I released in the mid 90s. And then we brought it back in I think it was 2010, 2011. We did a Kickstarter for it. But it's kind of another character that's near and dear to my heart. And so I really want to draw that book.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of tried to clear my table as much as possible so I can focus on drawing Blindside.
Now, is that your property now?
It's always been my property.
Oh, it's always been your property. Okay.
Yep,
Nice.
mine. So, it's weird. It's the one thing that I always get asked countless of times at every show. Are you ever bringing Blindside back? Are you ever bringing Blindside back? And I mean, I love it. At my core, I love superhero comics.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Blindside's going to be. It's going to be kind of an old school, superhero book where Adolfo Corona, who's just an unbelievable talent, he's inking Bloodshot right now. Over Brett Booth, he's inked tons of stuff over Rob Liefeld, from Deadpool to Hawk and Dove, and all the different projects that Rob's worked on. Major X. He's one of my closest friends, and we're literally just gonna go old school. We're gonna lock ourselves out in a studio, and I'm gonna sit there pencil pages and hand them over to him, and he's gonna ink them, and we're gonna produce a book that we're super proud of. And
that's
I think
awesome.
that's where I really want to. Besides covers, that's where I really want to focus.
That's awesome, man. So we need to let Alan know up front that he can't be bothering you when you get to that stage.
Yeah, Alan.
Gonna be locked away, Alan. Did you hear that one?
Mr. Bebo.
Speaking of Hawk and Dove, have you seen the Titans series at all?
Yeah, dug it.
Dove is pretty hot.
She's not hard on the eyes.
Not at all.
But I'm also
better than it being a dude.
True. But I'm also a huge Nightwing guy, so
yeah.
I love Nightwing. He's one of my favorite characters. So I watched 2 seasons just to get to that final episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I totally dug it. I'm a huge Titans fan. I love that Marv Wolfman, George Perez run. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, we had Marv Wolfman on last week. He's a cool dude.
Yeah,
he's a cool dude. Now we're working on hopefully George Perez.
Spoilers, Scala.
Spoilers for those listening out there.
Well, George is an awesome guy. Plus, he's in retirement, so he has time.
Oh yeah, nice. But it's fun thing. I didn't realize he was retiring for health reasons. I didn't know that. I thought he was retiring because he was like, it's my time. But Marv Wolfman was like, it's more for health purposes than anything else.
Again, dude, that travel wears you down.
Yeah,
it gets you. I mean, I think I'm 30 years younger than George, something like that. Maybe 20.
Well, he's up there, dude.
Yeah. So, and it's starting to wear me out. You
Yeah.
know, so I can only imagine 20 years from now being on the road.
How are your hands? Are you finding like as you're going on, is it getting harder to draw? Like almost like, holding a pencil for so long, or your stylus?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's starting. Mandy, my fiance, laughs because I always I have the artist bump that every artist has, and then I have this weird indentation on this finger because I hold pencil like that. So I'll put like tape over, or like I'll tape it up for a big fight every time I have to draw something. Yeah, it's
Freaking weird, man. That's weird. Why'd you share that?
Dude, those are elite pro tips right there.
I know.
You got those for free. You better put
Pro
some money in the jar.
Yeah, no, I've earned them, that's for sure.
Maybe you can shave off the bump and make it like a really high tier.
The
The Marat Mychaels.
Oh, that's nasty.
That's gross.
Too far, buddy. Too far.
Come on. I'm thinking out of the box for the next Kickstarter, dude. Ready? This is you right now. Boom. Well, actually, I gotta go this way because of the screen. Just going up and up and up. You make that a tier, boom, through the roof.
Yeah, you're way out the box.
One of one backer.
Oh, nice.
Well,
there you go. So, Marat, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Got to get going. And our next guest is waiting backstage. Would you like to be here when we greet him, or are you taking off?
No, I'll say hi to Dan.
You want to say hi to Dan? All right.
Awesome. I love
Since
Dan.
you introduced Blevins, I'm introducing. Now for, the top of our hour here, we have our next guest is a man that, unfortunately, I was sick and I had a massive work issue and we had to reschedule, but we finally have him on. So I'm very, very sorry. But we do have you. And I'm so pleased to introduce Mr. Dan Mendoza. Dan, welcome to the show, brother.
What's up, guys?
How's it
Can
going,
you hear
Dan?
me okay?
Okay.
Everything's
I can
good?
hear you perfectly,
What's
dude.
up, Marat? Virtual high five. Kickstarter's going good, buddy.
Oh, high five.
I'm
Dan, I
high-fiving.
was the opening act, so now
I hope you warmed him up with some good jokes.
I got him going. So now
I like that thing about your callus, dude. Mine's huge, bro. Like, look at that thing. It's like I'm not flipping you off, but look at that freaking callus, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, you cut those off and then make them your highest tier.
Dude, next time I see you, Marat, we're gonna compare calluses, bro.
This got awkward. I'm leaving.
All right, man. Hey, good luck with everything. I know you're gonna continue killing it out there with Notti by nature, dude.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate you all.
See you later, Marat.
Yeah,
Have a good one, Marat.
guys.
All right, man. You're on the chopping block now.
Hey,
Time
guys.
has come. How we doing, man? How's everything going?
Good, man. It's good to finally be on the show.
I know we're looking forward to it. You've got Sad Girl Psycho Baby 3 out on Kickstarter right now.
Yes.
And holy shit, dude.
You go,
There you go. People are still going. $58,282, 485 backers, 16 days to go. Damn,
Yeah.
that feels good. That's got to feel good, man. I would say you have some fans out there.
That's killing it.
Yeah, I call it every Kickstarter. I call it skateboarding because you can only coast so long before you got to kick and push on that skateboard again. So
It's that hump, dude.
I really try to pace out my incentives for the fans and have them jump on and everything like that. So like today I did another push on the skateboard and it jumped like another 1,000.
Nice. Yeah, that's why, to be honest, we really like to schedule our guests. Well, sometimes they'll request, hey, I want to come on around the time I'm actually launching. And a lot of times we'll look at their campaign and we'll see how it's going. And if it seems a little static, we'll be like, hey, why don't we schedule you for this point? So like when you're at that hump, what'll happen is then all of a sudden you'll get that, another outreach and boom, 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 you get another, 10, 20
this is
backers.
about the middle of the Kickstarter. It always kind of has like a slow pace to it. And then it always finishes with like a big bang. But yeah, right now it's just kind of like that little pacing. So
very cool, man. Very cool. So this is the first time we had you on the show.
Yeah.
I do want to give a quick shout out to where are you here? That guy Frankie. He's been here for you, man.
Oh,
You know,
really?
he-
Hey,
the
what's
first
up,
comment in the chat, you know, he says, "I'm here for Dan Mendoza," and we're here. Want to give a shout out
Nice.
to
Love
one
Frankie.
of your fans there, and yeah, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, for our viewers out there, you know, how did you get into comics? Did it start off as, you know, a kid, later in
Yeah,
life?
the way I got into comics is I forced myself in. But I've always been into comics. You know, as a kid, you know, I used to in elementary school. I used to draw comics for kids at school, and you know, you staple the paper together, and I would have new episodes for people like every so many months or whatever. But you know, I kind of got away from that. I was always drawing, of course, and you know, learning that how to draw comics, the Marvel Way book, and all that stuff, and I kind of went off into that anime realm after a while. But then you know, I went to animation school. I went to Cal Arts, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to be an animator. I'm going to do that.
Wow,
shit.
you went to
So,
Cal Arts? That's cool.
yeah. So
how was that?
It was cool, man. It was a cool 4 years. It kind of flew by. It's kind of a party school, so if you want to be diligent, you got to avoid all that shit. But yeah, I was a workaholic since the get-go, so I was always I was turning in an animated film every year. 1 year I did 2 films, but it was just like, it was nuts, man. I think it's like my senior year I did a 4-minute film, but it took like 5 months to draw or something like that. But it was just, it's crazy. But like, as soon as I got out, like during that time I started to, you know, work here and there for little companies and stuff. And then I started working for the Independent Film Channel as soon as I graduated, doing like little animated bumpers for them. And it was cool because they let me work at home. And then my first gig, which was also my last, is that I started doing stuff for MTV, and it was a nightmare. So I was just kind of like realizing that I don't like to work for people. so I kind of stopped with that, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with my art career? And then I got back into comics. So you know, I was on DeviantArt, and I would just do random pinups, building a fan base, you know, taking suggestions from fans of what to draw next, you know, here and there. And then I would go in the comic stores, and I just stopped buying books. I wasn't interested in anything anymore. So I was just like, well, why don't I make a comic book that I like? So at the very least, I made myself a book. But you know, I could take that book, and I could, you know, I could turn it in as a portfolio piece to different companies and stuff. So I did that, and I made Zombie Tramp. What's Frankie say?
He says, been an anime fan since the 90s, got into comics and got tired of the superhero stuff. Then found Zombie Tramp and never looked back.
Yeah, and that's what it was. It was weird. I wanted to make something because I'm just big into movies and horror genres and exploitation films from the 70s and things like that. So I was like, I want to make something that feels like that, you know. So I was like, well, okay, I like drawing girls and cute stuff and violent stuff, and I was like, well, I got to give it a stupid name. So I came up with Zombie Tramp. Yeah, so I thought of a stupid name. I was like, Zombie Tramp sounds like a grindhouse kind of dumb name. So I made that, and I went to a convention and sold them all in a couple of days. And I was like, man, people like this. So then I made a couple more issues, and then after that, it started to get like a cult following. So then, you know, I started looking around for publishers here and there and things like that, just to get it on the shelves. One publisher picked it up to get it on the shelves, and then it turned into a monthly series after that. It went full color, and then it's still going on. So that's like 10 years ago. So that series has been running for 5 years now or something like that.
Yeah, between you and Bill McKay's artwork, I mean, I love Zombie Tramp. I mean, I love what you guys are doing.
Nice, thanks. Yeah, Bill McKay, man, he's my cover guy.
Yeah, I know, he's fantastic, and he's a cool dude too. So tell me a bit though, like, how did you even come up with Zombie Tramp though? What was kind of like your little journey on that? You know, like, how did you get the idea? How did it evolve?
The idea just comes from just things I liked, you know, just mix it all together. When I watched the interview with Gendy Tartakovsky. I always mess up his last name, but the guy created Samurai Jack. And there's an interview talking about when he made Samurai Jack, he just took everything that he grew up with and he just put it in the one show. And then so I was just like, well, I'm gonna do that. I like horror movies, like slasher films, and I like 70s exploitation movies, like Russ Meyer films and Pam Grier movies and things like that. And then also like all the Tokyo shock movies that were coming out, like Machine Girl and Tokyo Gore Police and things like that. And I just want that violent element that they have in Japan, and mix it in with that 70s feel, but but make it more of a slasher film, because there isn't any female slashers that are famous. So I was like, I'll make a female character that more feels like a slasher kind of character. So I made Zombie Tramp. I was like, well, I'm just gonna draw this zombie character, and I just came up with the name.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So that was about 10 years ago now. So you've been working on that property for 10 years and it's still going.
Yeah, still
How
going.
many issues are you up to?
I think they're on, I think they're on 65 or something.
65. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Man. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys don't have books hitting those numbers, their own creations. They get to 5.
Yeah, the following on it just kind of stayed, because it was just like we had that comment right there, is a lot of people stopped collecting comics are the ones that ended up picking up my books later, because it was different. There was no more superhero stuff. It was just a book, like, it was like dark comedy, and it didn't take itself seriously, and it's just sex and violence.
Now, for each issue that you produce and publish, are you writing every issue?
Not anymore. Janie Bell was the very first character of the Zombie Tramp series, and I did her full complete arc, and I kind of felt at that time, because it was never meant to be a monthly series, so it just got to this point where I was just like, okay, this is a time where I think that I could just finish her story, so I kind of just finished it off on, I think it was issue 56 or something. I finished it, and the publishers didn't want to let it go, so I gave them a new character to start it off with, and then I decided just to go off on my own again, because it just got caught up in this whole thing where there was a lot of cooks in the kitchens, suggestions on what I needed to do all the time, and I just kind of missed those days where I was just sitting at home just working on my own books, and there was no deadlines, and I just was putting out what I felt like putting out, and I didn't have to listen to anybody.
So if you don't mind me asking, and if there's something I want to answer, that's fine. But so you went as an independent creator to a publisher.
Yes.
Obviously you didn't. There's probably like creative control issues, things like that. And then you're getting away from it. So what is your point of view now, or what would be your recommendation, advice to an independent creator who has a book that's growing somewhat successful?
My advice to a lot of the guys that ask me, I say, if you're going to go with a publisher, like, you got to think about what you want. Do you want to make a lot of money, or do you want to just put your book on the shelf? Because if you want to make a lot of money, then going to a publisher, it's not going to happen. You're basically just going to get your book on the shelf. I tell people that if you want to jump in with a publisher, you should already be established. You need to do all the shopping yourself. You need to find your fan base, and you need to constantly be on social media, promoting it, going to shows, getting your stuff out there, so people start to hear about you. People start to know about you. You sold a couple books on your own, things like that. So now you have a fan base. Once you got this fan base, and you do sign with a publisher, then you got that fan base going to the stores and getting that stuff and getting excited about it, and then it starts spreading. But when you go in with no fan base at all, no one's going to even find you in the Diamond catalog. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then so now we have issue 3. So you had Zombie Tramp, and now you have Sad Girl Psycho Baby. So is this now your flagship back to the independents?
Yeah. When I was working on Zombie Tramp, they wanted to do another character, like a witch hunter, and I was like a zombie hunter or something. And I was like, no, I go, why don't we do like a witch hunter character, And then they're like, yeah, that's cool. And I go, but I want it to be a ball jointed doll. And they're like, what the fuck is a ball jointed doll? And, you know, I collect a bunch of Japanese and Korean, like these ball jointed dolls. And they're like fully articulated or whatever. And I showed them, I go, this is a life-size doll with the soul of a witch hunter in it. And so I made that, and the company kickstarted it. And they had me as the front man on the video for the Kickstarter and everything. And that got funded. Man, I think it got funded like in 4 hours, and it was like it got funded right as I was going to San Diego Comic-Con, and I was like, man, this is cool. I think my fans are still hungry for new stuff that I could create. So then, you know, after I decided to move on from being with a publisher and stuff, I was like, I'm gonna make another book, and then, but I'm gonna mix in a lot of stuff I like again, you know what I mean? So I like that lowrider culture. I'm from Los Angeles. I like, you know, like all those gangster movies and things like that. I like Mad Max movies. And I was like, I'm gonna mix it together. So I came up with Sad Girl Psycho Baby, and then and I did a Kickstarter while I was still at that publisher, and just to test the waters, and that got funded in an hour. And I think it was like at 45,000 or just under 45,000, I think.
In an hour?
And,
In an hour?
No, that was like when it was ended.
I
got funded.
It's like, wow.
It made. I always put the goal at 8,000. So yeah, it got funded for the 8,000 in an hour, and then so it finished off around just under 45,000, I think. And then that was my first lesson in Kickstarters on my own. So we learned a lot of things about shipping on time and getting projects done, and it ended up taking way longer than we thought. But I learned a lot off of that. I started talking with Polito a lot. Polito was really interested in things I was doing, because when I started doing covers for him and stuff, we started talking more. And so around the time that I wanted to make another Sad Girl book, I was like, man, I go, this is a lot. I get a lot of backers. I go, this is a lot for one person to handle. It's just me and Nightmare doing it. And I go, do you know any fulfillment companies? And he goes, we'll fulfill your stuff for you. And I was like,
nice.
Yeah. So after that, it was like this kind of kismet thing with Brian and I, and getting help from Coffin Comics and stuff. So now every Kickstarter we do, everything gets printed in Arizona, because that's where Coffin Comics is, and everything gets printed to Arizona, goes straight to their headquarters, and then they do all the fulfillment. So
that's fantastic.
It helped out a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge help, because he's got the whole assembly line, the warehouse. Yes. I mean, the only thing he doesn't have yet is the printing.
Yeah, I know. That's
I mean, it's only a matter of time that he's going to be just printing his own books.
When he got banned from the one printer because of Page and Hellwitch, and he was really thinking. He's like, man, we were talking about that. I was like, you going to get your own printing company? He's like, I don't know yet, but yeah, he was really like, you know, I mean, the day that happened, he was really like wishing that he had a printing company, you know.
That's awesome. That'd be cool if he did. And then he is officially a one-stop shop.
But it's cool, man. Like when we do the Kickstarters, we finish after the 10-day waiting period for the money to roll in. So we got that 10 days where we make sure everything's finished up. I'll letter the book during those 10 days, because it only takes 2 days to letter a 44-page book for me. I'll letter it, and then it'll sit there waiting. Then we give them their surveys, and Coffin Comics helps me build the survey, and we get it out there. And then we only leave the survey open for like 2 weeks, and then we pull in the orders. And since I live in Vegas and he lives in Arizona, I just drive over there. It's like a 5-hour drive. I drive over there, and I get everything signed in 2 days, and then I drive home and stuff.
Oh, nice.
That.
So you just bang it out quick and done.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, now that you're doing all these Kickstarter and things, are you trying to basically get a schedule set so that every, X amount of months you have a new book going out?
Yeah, we're set on 3 Kickstarters a year right now. So we got this one, and then I think the next one will probably be the end of April or the beginning of May or mid-May. These are around the times that they all were last year too. And then we usually finish off the year with a third one. But this year we're kind of changing it up a little bit. I'm gonna try to do 4.
Nice.
But one of the Kickstarters, it might be a GoFundMe. Not GoFundMe, but Indiegogo. It might be an Indiegogo because we might have an overlap. Because one of the books, it's not really a big book. It's just a book with like one cover. I keep doing at shows when I do conventions. I've been doing my exclusives as these little mini short stories, and they always revolve around a holiday or something. But I haven't done a Halloween one, so we're gonna do a horror anthology set for our Halloween goal. So we want to have this book done and ready to go by August, so we can do 30 days to get it funded and then get it printed and mailed out to everybody in time for Halloween. So.
Oh, nice. Well, let me ask you a question. So is that your way of testing the waters in Indiegogo?
Yes.
Okay. So I get a lot of shit because I promote, using both platforms, and I've been called out for double dipping and things like that, right? In guidance. I say it more as like, well, obviously, like if you're a huge name in comics, you can do it. You can be successful on both. If you're an up and comer, then you're probably better off sticking to wherever you grew your brand.
Yeah.
For you, it's probably going to be Kickstarter. It's probably going to be, the bread and butter, unless you just announce, hey, I'm moving everything over to Indiegogo. But that is one thing I noticed in the feedback that I'm getting. And honestly, the feedback's not negative. Like, it's not a bad feedback I get, but people are like, really opinionated on that. And I understand what they're saying. Because you have people that will only support Kickstarter, you have people that will only support Indiegogo, and then you have fans that are just going to follow you wherever you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if because like, let me say that book does really well, how do you gauge? Have you ever thought of this? Like, if this does really well, how do I gauge which platform I stay on? Because what is successful on Indiegogo if it's your first run on that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the thing, is that I expect that book to not do high numbers. It's only going to have like one cover or maybe a regular and a nude cover, and that's it. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm not doing multiple covers, which is the big money maker thing. So it's something I want to do with that's just going to be very tame, and I'll just let people know it's over there.
But this too, though, is strictly for Indiegogo. You're not going to do this on Kickstarter and then bring it to Indiegogo.
No. So it's going to be. It depends on the pacing. Nice. I would like to do it on Kickstarter, but if there's going to be an overlap with another book, then I'll just throw it on Indiegogo. But the goal is to try to get on Kickstarter, but it depends on when our third book is going to come in in the summertime. So
nice.
So, yeah.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. So if you don't mind, I love, I always play the videos for the campaigns. So what I'd like to do is just, quickly play the video for everyone for your Kickstarter campaign.
Sure.
And then we'll go in and talk about it.
Okay, cool.
Are you okay with that? You're giggling.
Yeah, go for it.
You're giggling away.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right, cool. Yo, where's my lowrider? Like that. That had me. If you could see, I had my head bobbing, dude.
That's Nightmare built that for me. A couple of other times I had Nick G from Coffin build my videos for me, and then this time around I was working, and Nightmare was finishing up another project we had going on that was big. She runs the online store and everything, and she was like, I know you're doing this whole Kickstarter on your own. You don't like a lot of help, but do you want me to do anything? And I was like, make the video. And she's like, done. So then gave her a bunch of images and everything to use, and she put that together.
Awesome,
cool.
dude.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, all right. So we're here, man. Sad Girl Psycho Baby 3. Tell us about Sad Girl, man.
Yeah, Sad Girl. It's a post-apocalyptic world, Mad Max kind of genre, but it's more of an atmospheric climate change that where the air changed, so a lot of the population just died out from it.
Mhm.
But some of the people just mutated. So now we got different kinds of new races and breeds of people and monsters and all that stuff comes back. In this issue, they go to Dinosaur Castle. So jumping back a little bit, there's no more government, so there's different cities that still survived, and those cities got taken over by certain gangs. So they started calling these cities castles. So they started naming them all different and stuff. So this is Dinosaur Castle, which is it's kind of in Canada. Like if when I have like a little map of like how the world looks, but it's this whole world where kind of dinosaurs started to kind of come back, but they're kind of mutated and a little bit different looking.
Mm-hmm.
But you got cave people, and it became like a primitive city, and it got taken over by some girl that's like a high tech. She's from like a high tech city where they still have cell phones and they got flying, jetpacks and just all that futuristic shit. So it's kind of like Sad Girl's been looking for this girl named Relic that steals children and stole her brother when she was little. So she's been looking for this chick for like 15 years or whatever. So this girl Turtle Tutu, who's running Dinosaur Castle, is like the right hand man of Relic. So she's going there to get some answers basically by force. So that's what this issue is. And this story arc's probably gonna be 3 issues.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
A big thing I got tired of also working in with a company is the amount of pages per comic book, where it's about, you have to do like these 20 to 22 page stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt like I had to cut things short because of it. So all my stories now are about 40 to 48 pages for each Kickstarter book, because I always felt that I had to cut fight short or things, other things short. So these are, I feel like I could just drag it out as long as I want, because like if I want to have a 44 page fight, like a whole issue that's just one fight, I can do it. You know what I mean? It goes back to a lot of Japanese manga books and stuff like that, where you just got full on fights for like a 100-page book fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't understand why we can't do that in Western comics. So.
Yeah, you can. You just got to make it, man.
Yeah.
Blevins.
Yeah.
What's up, Scala?
Just make sure you're still there, bro.
Yeah, man. I was just waiting for my opportunity, man. What's up?
I know.
You got such amazing questions. I'm like, I don't know if I can top any of that. But yeah, Dan, awesome to meet you, man. Your work is absolutely phenomenal, and you deserve all the success that you have had. Just looking at all the stuff you've done, it's absolutely incredible.
He's not going to do a free sketch for you, bro.
I wasn't asking for anything like that. Somebody actually mentioned in the comments earlier, and I have to agree. Like, the way you just described, having to pull back from that limitation. It's very reminiscent of Dragon Ball Z, where they have those full giant fight deals, and he's like, hey, look, Dan loves Dragon Ball Z just like me, and it's what's up?
I'm a big Dragon Ball guy, so And that's another thing, is that I liked. I grew up, like with Akira and Fist of the North Star, those kinds of anime. That was like my first introduction to anime was Akira. But the first thing I fell in love with was Fist of the North Star, and that's what I wanted with this book. I wanted that Fist of the North Star feel when it came to the fights, with like lots of fast fist punching and like
and
giant
heads
mutated
exploding,
men and heads exploding. I did one last week. I was doing one of the pages on this book, and I just I had to do a full rendering of this head exploding. I don't. When I get into some of these things, like some of these pages, I just color them myself, because I just feel like I need to have it a certain way. So like a head exploding or something like that, I just I'll color the whole thing, and then I'll send it to the colorist, and I'll put little notes on there. I'm like, you can finish the rest. you know. But,
Well, you said this story, which by the way, if I was ever going to go anywhere, it would 100% be Dinosaur Castle. Like if I was ever going to go anywhere, we were talking about that actually before this happened. I was like, man, I kind of want to kick it at Dinosaur Castle. Like, that sounds like a happening place, you know. But
Yeah.
but you know, this is your third issue. So would you say that? And I, you know, it's kind of hard to ask you to you know, hey, do you choose between your favorite kids or whatever? But Sad Girl Psycho Baby, I mean, she has to be someone that you really, really wanting to push pretty hard. I mean, you've had other successful Kickstarters, with Sugar Pop and Little Six Cannibal Kitty, and you actually brought Sugar Pop into the Sad Girl, Psycho Baby world with these books. Like, I mean, is this your next? I mean, you got another 3-issue story arc coming up with her. You said with this Attack at Dinosaur Castle.
Yeah, it was the first one I did where I was just gonna go back and off on my own and stuff. So I just created a character that I really wanted to do. I want to do like a tough girl character. That's just, and then I also was already developing Sugar Pop, and at the time when I was working for a publisher, I knew I only had time to do one book. So I took everything I built in Sugar Pop, or origin stories, everything like that, and I just kind of kept it all archived, and I put her in the Sad Girl book because I just knew I could only do one book. So Sad Girl was never supposed to have a sidekick character, but then I just put her in there, and everybody liked her so much that I just kept her as a sidekick character, and started it, and had T.M. Chu, who was one of the first artists on the Zombie Tramp monthly series, come in and help me, and he's drawing all the Sugar Pop origin stories. And the Sugar Pop origin books, number 1 came out last year. It's going to be about 4 issues only, so that's it for the Sugar Pop books. So just to give everybody a taste of what she's all about and stuff like that.
Yeah, Apex Comics says Sad Girl Psycho Baby is fucking brilliant.
Oh, thanks, man. And then Cannibal Kitty, Little Six Cannibal Kitty, is all Nightmare's creation. I was working on Sad Girl. I needed an arms dealer character, and I was working on it, and I was working for it to be a certain character, which is Mutzi, the cave girl from Dinosaur Castle, and Nightmare had this idea for this cat girl character, and I was like, man, I go, why don't we switch it and make her the arms dealer? I go, this is pretty cool. I always wanted to do. I love cat girl characters, and I never got around to doing one. So, but her story ideas were so kind of different from the way I was going, the path I was taking, that I was just like, okay, well, we're gonna scratch it, and we can still keep her in the same universe and say she's an ex-arms dealer, and she gave the company to Mutzi, whatever. But yeah, and then it ended up being her own book. So she's that one did phenomenally well. I think that had the most backers we ever had. We had 750 backers on that. So she's working on the script for issue 2. So that's gonna be crazy. And then she's really picky about artists. So she's like, can you draw this? And I was like, yeah, I'll draw it. So now I'm drawing 2 books, those 2 books every year now.
Without spoiling anything, we're going to see some more spinoffs.
I'm not sure yet. Probably not. I have another project that I've been building. So when Sugar Pop is done, this one will come in its place afterwards, and that will be. I don't know if I'll have time to draw it because of Little Six Cannibal Kitty, but I'm gonna try to do a lot with it. But it's more of another sci-fi kind of genre kind of thing. So
it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Now,
everybody loves the my studio mascot. So yeah, they're like, oh, is she gonna be in a book? Is she gonna be in a book? So yeah, she'll be in this other book I've been working on. So
The Still Ill Princess.
the Still Ill Princess,
So
which is basically me. I'm kind of a princess sometimes. When it comes
Man,
to
you gotta.
yeah.
I mean, for being part of the, like dealing with zombies and having a lot of kind of dark characters or whatever, you do definitely give off a Tom Savini vibe. I don't know if
nice,
it's just
nice.
the hat and the goatee or whatever, but definitely, I mean, like the work, the way you're talking, yeah, man, Tom Savini.
Yeah, Tom Savini's awesome. Dude, what's funny is that last year at the Texas Frightmare, he walked past the table, and you don't want to bother him. You just walk past the table, and he gives you a head nod or whatever, and then some guy across from me just kept bothering him, and then he's like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And he's like, "Nope."
Nice.
He's like, "You can come wait in line at my table if you want to do that," and I was like, "That's fucking awesome."
Now let me ask you. So, like, I'm thinking about that 40-page fight scene, and you went to Cal Arts studying animation, and studying. I'm sure you had to do. They had you doing storyboarding, right?
Yeah, yeah. So my degree is in film, so it's storyboarding, script writing, just everything, every formula of storytelling, all that stuff. So it all comes really fast to me now, because at that school they make you learn everything fast, and they want you to work fast and act fast about everything. So it's really fast paced. So everything I do now, I can make things really fast. Like I can make a 20-page book in 10 days or less now. So yeah, it's crazy.
So how do you go about planning a 40-page fight scene?
I kind of go in. You go in roughly with how it starts and a turning point of it, and basically how it ends. And I kind of, when I'm writing it, I just sit there. I usually work in complete silence or whatever, and then I just kind of sit there and I just kind of try to visualize it in my head. But before I even write it, I sit on it for about a month or so, or a couple of weeks, where I just think about it a lot in my head, and then after a while I can just kind of write it out. But as I'm writing it, it's really loose. So when I go in to draw it, I can kind of do what I want, because a lot of times when I'm doing the drawings and I'm laying out the page, I'll change my mind, because it'll just make the page layout look better. So I'll change my mind on what happens a little bit. So.
Oh, nice.
Hang on one second.
Go
ahead. Sorry.
Junkie Heretic, Dan, do you see many cosplayers doing your characters at cons?
No, I think my characters aren't famous enough, and they're too scantily clad. So.
Uh-oh.
Well, someone better start doing it.
Or else.
I've been sneered at a lot at a lot of shows in my career. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like,
because of the scantily clad young ladies.
Yeah, I'm lewd.
Okay. They need to look at all the books, and you can start right back in the 90s.
I know, right? Yeah.
You're not doing anything. It's not something new to have girls in bikinis and things like that.
I'm not doing anything different. I grew up. That's why it's awesome to work with Polito on things and stuff, because I grew up on Polito. I grew up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I grew up on Tucci stuff. I used to read Wizard magazine and all the interviews, and I read everything about Tucci and stuff. And I was talking to him at the Tucson show about, I just knew all these things about him before he started drawing and stuff. And he's kind of like looking back at me like, well, how do you know these things? I'm like, you were in Wizard magazine, dude. But just coming up like that, where I wasn't really into the big superhero books in the 90s, I was starting seeing those 90 bad girl books come out, like Razor and, James L. Barr, of course, did The Crow, but but there were so many of these bad girl comics, and I was just kind of into those at the time. And that's kind of where, I just.
Were you a Dawn fan? Were you into Dawn?
Yeah. I love Linzer, man. His stuff is so awesome. I finally met him at a show a couple years ago in San Diego, and I was just talking to him about, growing up on his stuff for A Cry for Dawn and stuff. And he gave me a bunch of free books, man. He's cool.
Did you get something from Frank Amazing? A sketch? Nice. Yeah. Baltimore?
Yeah, he's
at Baltimore.
Nice. Sorry, Frank Amazing, one of the other producers. Is
right
next to me.
Nice.
I'm just talking to him. The figment of my imagination.
If you don't want me asking, like you've been around for a long time, like you've definitely been doing this whole time. You know, of course, in the beginning, you were using, you know, Bristol board, you know, blue lines, all that stuff. Did you convert over to digital? Like, I don't know if you use digital now with your pencils. Like, I don't know if you use the Cintiq or if you use the iPad Pro or whatever. But how was the learning curve to transfer over to that?
I'm pure digital now. It was a slow kind of thing where I was hesitant, you know, to do it. So I was just always doing just, you know, pencil and inks, and then I would scan it in the computer, and then I would just I started doing the colors, you know, just back in then when I just made black and gray books, you know what I mean? I would just do with a little bit of color, and I would just do that in Photoshop. And I had just like the little Wacom tablet that you sit on your desk, and it doesn't have a screen on it, and you're just sitting there looking up at the screen and hoping you're lining it up right and stuff, and you're doing everything with lasso tools, and,
right? Wacom bamboo tablets or something.
Yeah, it was an old Wacom tablet someone gave me, and then is it Wacom or Wacom? I don't know. I always say Wacom, but anyways, it went from that to man, I just kind of one day it was during a move. I had just moved to Las Vegas, and I just got a new desk and stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy a Cintiq, and I went and bought the biggest Cintiq that they had.
Nice.
And I just sat down, and I'm just like, I'm gonna try to draw on this thing, and it went like within about 10 minutes, I was adjusted. So
wow,
the learning curve is not even there. And then I discovered Clip Studio Paint, which is the greatest program ever, and I don't even use Photoshop anymore. Photoshop's the worst. So yeah, Clip Studio Paint is the best, dude. I have it for my Cintiq on my home computer. I have it for my iPad when I'm traveling. You know what I mean? And like, it's made for making comic books. That's
it
what
is. Yeah.
So you think it's way better than Procreate?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't tried Procreate yet, but I probably will use Procreate just because people are showing me like some of the cool brushes and other cool stuff you could do.
I think it's better. I personally think it's better than Procreate.
Yeah,
This is built.
Everything. It was built for comic books.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That was because it was used to be called Manga Studio, and that's the program a lot of like Japanese comic book artists work on. They use that program. You know, they make full on animes with that.
Yeah,
program.
they changed the name to bring it to the West.
Yeah, it's a terrible name.
They just changed the name. So instead of now it's Clip Art Studio. There you go.
Yeah,
now you're not making manga or anything or anime. It's Clip Art.
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want.
But I still use I use all their speed line templates and shit.
Yeah,
because the speed lines and shit, you can just drop them in and like, bam, I didn't have to sit there with a ruler and do all these damn lines.
It's crazy. It's funny the thing though. You know, like I remember like when I was growing up and drawing and learning, and you'd get so frustrated, right? Because it's like the left eye didn't look like the right eye, and it was like you weren't getting as close. But now the way technology is like you draw half the face, mirror it, and boom, now everything's at perfect symmetrical. It's all the same, and it's kind of, I don't want to say it's cheating, but it does.
It's not,
it relieves the stress a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of it too is like I love the fact that like if I'm not sure about, like today I was drawing an arm and I wasn't sure about how I wanted to put the arm in placement. So I love that I could just make a new layer and just draw the arm and mess with it, and then take the transform tool and just move it around and see and like bend it and see like, is that a good position? And then if I don't like it, I could just delete that layer, and I don't have to make a mess at home, on paper, and keep erasing and keep erasing and keep erasing.
Exactly.
I love it.
It's awesome. And I don't want to, we're getting, some questions and stuff coming in. So if you don't mind, let me get a,
cool.
So let's see here. Junkie Heretic, my girl will be cosplaying Il Princess for Dallas Fan Expo. So there'll be at least one.
Cool. Awesome, man.
And then that guy, Frankie, will Dan ever bring Janie back maybe sometime in the future?
That's a conversation for another time.
All right. That's for another show.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yes, exactly.
That's all. And then, we got some people agreeing with us that they enjoy the Clip Studio Paint and everything. And guys, if you have any questions for Dan, please post them in the chat here, and we will always gladly take any super chats, as those help keep our show production funded. Dan, now you do a lot with Polito.
Yeah.
And you started off by doing covers for him.
Yeah.
are you guys, is it kind of like you I've noticed like with independent creators, especially in the crowdfunding scene, like it's almost like little groups form, right? Like everyone's like independent but always supporting each other. Do you see that with, you and Polito and some of the other creators?
Yeah, it's especially in Arizona, man. There's like this huge Arizona clique now, and for me just to be like a few hours away and stuff, I kind of got pulled in this clique. But it all started with Polito, and I was doing a couple Lady Death covers for him, and then he was in town to go see the Misfits and stuff. So he's like, "Hey, you want to grab lunch?" So then I talked to him about some stuff, and he was like, "Hey, can I build a schedule for you for all next year of just doing covers for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it, man." So, and after that, we would talk business a lot, Kickstarter stuff, and what we're doing with characters and other things like that. And it was like kismet, like he always says it's kismet too. And it was just our work ethic it's just so high where we're just workaholics, man. And it kind of made us kind of just mesh and click. And then I had talked to Marat Mychaels a couple times at a show because he wanted to get some covers for me too. And then when we all started talking was I went to Arizona for a Lady Death Kickstarter event, and Marat Mychaels was there, and and Jesse James Comics, and all these a couple other artists and things like that, and it just became like this group, you know what I mean? That we just all know each other now, and it's cool, man. It's just this indie little bunch, it's awesome.
That's great, man. That's awesome. Redson asks, what's the weirdest commission request you've ever had?
Red Sun. I know who that is. Man, though he wants me to say it on the air because it's disgusting, but it's this guy, this couple wanted me to draw their friend as Peter Parker, and it was a Marvel comic of Peter Parker of Spider-Man fighting Dr. Octopus. So the cover is him backed against the wall, and all the Dr. Octopus's tentacles hitting the wall, and he's blocking them. I forget which issue of Spider-Man that was, but they asked me to draw the Spider-Man without the mask and make it look like their friend, and then instead of the tentacles, it was like a bunch of penises like coming out. And then,
No.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, okay, no problem and stuff. And then I was showing my friends, and they're like, well, use more veins and stuff. It was weird and funny at the same time.
You can never have enough veins, I tell you, Blevins. You can never have enough veins. It's
You
a
do
sign
say
of
that
the sign of
say that a
health.
lot.
It's a sign of good health.
You say that way too much, actually.
Well, hey, my
I think-
grandpappy, drilled it in our heads.
This
But
might be a
anywho,
good time for us to discuss how much that bothers me.
yeah. Dan, any possibility? Apex Comics asks if there's any possibility of a sad girl psycho baby / zombie tramp team up.
Conversation for another time.
Conversation for another time. All right.
Yeah.
Hey Dan, you've worked with a bunch of people, and you've been around in this business. Like, is there anybody like maybe a legend or up and comer, or someone that's new that you would love to meet, maybe do a collab with? That you haven't had an opportunity?
I would like to do something or learn a little bit from Joe Mad. I think Joe Mad is he came in with that Capcom style, and no one really knew what it was at the time, and he got to jump on X-Men, and he was like one of the first artists that was going in and giving it that anime feel, and no one really knew it.
He killed it.
You know what I mean?
He killed it.
It was awesome, man.
And then
he changed Rogue's haircut to look like Major Kusanagi, and no one knew who the fuck Major Kusanagi was back then and stuff. And it's just cool, man. It was just, I would like to just learn something from that guy, man, because he's.
Man, does he even do comics anymore? I know he's done a couple of covers, but I think he just works on his.
While. He just does video game stuff, yeah. But
cool.
But a lot of the old Japanese artists I like, like I would like to learn stuff from Yukito Koshiro, who created Battle Angel. I was reading his stuff when it first came out back in the day, and I'd read interviews and things with him and stuff, and it's just he really admired Frank Miller, which was weird because Yukito Koshiro's style, it was just, full on, lots of cross hatching and speed lines and all this stuff, and he liked Frank Miller because Frank Miller can create movement without any of that. It was just still shots, but the the silhouette and the posing of it was just so clean that you just felt that movement. But I liked Yukito Kishiro for like when he does a kick, how he could cross-hatch a leg to make it look blurry and all that stuff. And I was always into that, you know. And the way it is now with Clip Paint Studio, I'll just put like that leg on a separate layer and use the blur tool and blur them out. You know, put emotion. And I'm like,
a couple swipes.
Yeah.
I actually backed Joe Mad's Battle Chasers
Nice.
Kickstarter he did. I still haven't got the comic yet. Like I don't know if that's ever. I don't know if it's ever. Man, I was a huge Battle Chasers fan. I was a Cliffhanger fan. I mean, think about, you know, you had Image, and then you boil down Image to what Cliffhanger was with, you know, I mean, J. Scott Campbell, Humberto Ramos, and Joey Mad. I mean, God, talk about a terrific trio, if you would.
Yeah, Humberto Ramos, man, that guy's cool too. Like, I talked to him briefly in Canada, I think, in Toronto or something. But man, yeah, I would like to sit down and talk with that guy too, because it's just so cool. Like when he first came in and he was doing stuff for DC, his stuff just looked like a Tagger did it, man. It just had that Tagger graffiti style, and I liked it so much. You know, he's cleaned up his style has changed so much through the years, but it's just, yeah, I would just like to have a sandwich with that dude. But like,
yeah,
that's how it was. Last year, I had lunch with Mike Zeck, just because.
Oh, cool.
We were setting up at a show and he was across from me and he was
awesome.
Talking to me, and I was like, you know, it was like 2 hours before the convention opened, and I was like, I think I'm gonna go get a sandwich, and he's like, me too, and I was like, you want to go get a sandwich with me? And he's like, yeah. So it was cool, man, talking to Mike Zeck, man, learning about Craven's Last Hunt and all that cool shit. You know?
Yeah, solid. Awesome. I told Nile yesterday. I said, no, we have to go to Torpedo Comics this weekend. And he's like, why? I was like, because Humberto Ramos is at Torpedo Comics this weekend. He's like, be quiet. Nice. I was like, no, he is. He's there. Let's go.
Nice.
On the other side of the United States from us.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Start walking.
I'll hitchhike. We'll see what happens. I'll make some new friends. Junkie Heretic asks, Dan does a lot of metal Dan does a lot of metal cards for stretch goals. Would you ever consider doing a non-metal trading card set with art from, well, Polito doesn't draw, but maybe some of the artists Polito does and others as a group?
Nightmares talked about doing a tarot card set, which is a good idea for her character, for Little Six and stuff like that. But as far as like a card set, like sketch cards, things like that, maybe I would have to team up with a company that does that stuff.
Like an old school trading card set.
Yeah, just to make it legit. But as far as doing it something where it's just a Kickstarter, I wouldn't do it. If I was to do it just as stretch goals, I would have it pre-planned where every single stretch goal is a new set of cards. You know what I mean? So at the end of the campaign, you had like 20 collector cards, you know what I mean? Like foil and all sorts of cool shit. But
I think you should bring back Pogs.
Yeah.
Fidget spinners.
Psycho Girl, Sad Girl, Psycho Baby, Pogs.
When I was
slammers
17,
with big boobs on them.
Yeah,
dude. Slammers with big boobs for your fingers, right? Boom. We'll talk.
When I was 17, I Pogs were big, and I remember me and my friend having lunch with some guy from China or something, and we're eating weird Chinese food at some restaurant, and he created Pogs, so we would just sit there at home and just draw Pogs all day long, as many as we could, and it was, the template was like, it was like this big around, so you're just drawing this, and they shrunk it down at the end, you know what I mean? But I never seen any of those Pogs. My friend, he got a couple, but it's just like, man, I'd never seen who they came out for or what. But the big thing now is those speaking of slammers, those pop sockets that people put on the back of their cell phones, because it's around like a slammer and stuff. So
one of the guests yesterday actually talked about putting one of those on.
Yeah, Kara Nicole, the cosplayer, comic creator, she's doing that in her campaign. They have that for the phone.
Yeah, I have that. If we get to I think 80,000 or something, I'll have the pop socket, because at 65,000 I was doing an enamel pin of a different character from my universe, and they're 4 inches tall, so they're pretty big. So we already have a Cannibal Kitty, a Sugar Pop, a Sad Girl. So this time around we're gonna do the Cave Girl Mutzy. So every single campaign so you can just start collecting this whole lineup of these 4-inch enamel pins. So
oh, very cool, man. Awesome. Blevins, any further questions for the great Dan Mendoza?
Well, I don't know if it's taboo to ask or anything, but I know you said you stepped away from doing the zombie tramp stuff, but it's still going on. I mean, you still have ownership in that, right?
Yeah, I have trademark and copyright.
Awesome.
On it, so, yeah.
Awesome. Do you think you might go back for the 100th issue whenever it hits that? Because it's on its way. You're like, we can't talk about that right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to. Only the future knows for now. Yeah.
Well, you've been completely successful with your Kickstarter, so I don't see you slowing down anytime soon. I'm eager to see if you bust through Dinosaur Castle and go check out some other castles as the story progresses.
Thank you, man.
So Daniel,
can't wait for the Mutzy pillowcase station. Awesome. Hey, yeah, I just announced today there was for the Sad Girl pillowcase, because the pillowcase came about where I just was testing the waters, and I made some for my online store, and it was a Sad Girl one and a Sugar Pop one, and I made 40 of the Sad Girl and 60 of the Sugar Pop, not knowing if people were even gonna buy them. And then I think the Sad Girl sold out in an hour, and then the Sugar Pop like in a couple days or whatever. So just to see if people were still interested in it. When we did Cannibal Kitty, I was like, man, I want to jumpstart this Kickstarter a little bit. So I made another body pillowcase, and then that went really well. So today I announced on the Kickstarter that I brought back the Sad Girl pillowcase, since I only made 40 of them before. So now everybody's jumping on that, which is cool. So, but yeah, there'll be more pillowcases. As long as people are interested in them, I'll still keep making those pillowcases.
Oh, fantastic. And you got another backer since we last were here. So now you're up to 58,332. Fantastic. If it's someone that's watching the show, thank you, man. That's awesome. Yes. And we've got a couple more things here before we head out. So your boy here, that guy Frankie, very kind words. Keep TMCHU and Elsevilla in your corner. My favorite underground artist, and you're my favorite comic book creator.
Nice, man. Yeah, TMCHU's. I asked him. I said, "Will you be able to do all of these Sugar Pop origin books, the 4 issues?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm down." So we do have TMCHU for all 4 Sugar Pop books, and then Elsevilla's a good dude, so I'll keep using them.
And that guy Frankie is a soldier boy.
Heck yeah, dude.
Soldier.
The type of guy you want in your corner, man. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Now, how can everyone stay in touch with what you're doing?
Just on all the socials, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's all under Art of Dan Mendoza. And my online store is stillillprincess.com.
Awesome. And we'll add those into the description of this episode. So if anybody wants to check out those links, we'll have them in there.
Cool, thanks.
Awesome. Well, this was just swell, man. Swell.
Great.
Keep drawing them veiny, and good luck with the Kickstarter.
Cool, man.
What? Actually, what conventions are you going to be hitting this year?
Next show is not till March. It's Toronto Comic Con in Canada.
Nice.
And then the weekend after that is Dallas Fan Expo, and then WonderCon. And then what else? The show in Orlando was at MegaCon.
Oh, yeah, Orlando MegaCon, yeah.
Yeah, MegaCon, and then a few others around May through June. I'm trying not to do anything because I got a big move. We're moving to a new location, so so I kind of cut back on the shows this year. So I'm only doing 9 or something like that. So.
Nice. You ever do shows up in the Northeast?
New
York.
I used to do New York, but I've been kind of flagged as a bad boy, so I don't. Their panel of judges kind of thumbs down when I apply. So
really,
that's whack.
We'll have to make some phone calls. We'll make some phone calls.
Make some
we
phone
know
calls
those people,
please, because like people that work for me get tables, but I can't get a table. Like
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's a thing. It's cool, but same thing with C2E2. I'm on the waiting list again, and we'll see what happens. But yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, we have the guy that runs those on our show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Negan's a good dude. I'm sure. I've never met him.
I don't think it's his choice though.
It's not his choice,
No.
dude. It's just a panel, so
Yeah.
it's the way it is. So, yeah.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate it. Good luck with everything. And please, everyone, if you can, back Sad Girl Psycho Baby 3. And, you know, obviously we all know sometimes the funds aren't there. You know, we're always backing independent creators, Kickstarters. But, hey, there's no cost in sharing. Share on your Facebook, share on your Twitter, share on your Instagram. Just help spread the word and, you know, make this, the highest grossing Kickstarter for Dan. He's got 16 days left. And make him have to deal with 1,000 backers.
And if you haven't, and if you haven't got on Sad Girl 1 or 2, we do have those books available as add-ons in this campaign as well.
Oh, fantastic. Perfect. Nice. I was actually about to ask that question before we head out.
Yeah, and then I for the first time, I never offered it digital, so the first time on this Kickstarter, every reward you get, you'll get a digital version of issue 1, 2, and 3.
Perfect. So sweet. Mandy Summer says, congrats on your success. So Dan, thank you so much. When you have anything coming up, any campaign, let us know. Now that we're using this new stream thing, it's easy for us to bring in more creators and not have to have people like sitting here while we interview one and whatnot and this and that.
No Skype.
Yeah, so whenever you want, no more Skype. We're done with that.
Awesome.
So whenever you want to come back on, you know, or if you know a friend that's got a campaign going, you want to get them on and you want to join us on the show with anyone that you're working with, you know, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Frank Amazing. You know, shoot us an email, a message, a DM, whatever you want to do, and we'll get you back on.
Cool.
Especially for your next future campaigns. You always got a spot on the show.
Of course, man.
You're so amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. It's hot. All right, everyone. Everyone have a great night. Again, Dan, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye, guys.
See you.
Levany Blevins, man, another great show tonight.
Great show. Man, I gotta tell you, somebody told me you messed up.
Really?
Yeah, you did not play Marat's video for his Kickstarter.
No, I didn't, because Marat just explains the book. So he in his videos he explains the books. So instead of playing his video, we just had him explain it here.
Which he did a phenomenal job with.
He did a fantastic job with. So that's why I don't play. Because what'll happen, you know, and I screen the videos typically before I put them on. That's why sometimes if I don't and I open it and I've done it before, I'm like, oh my God, this person's video is like 7 minutes. Yeah, we're not going to watch that. And we go back to the interview. You know, I look to see what people's interviews are like. Because if they're just going to explain it, then it takes away from that intimate interview and having them candidly explain it to us, or we can have questions that can come in from the audience or from us and things that, you know, pop up at the top of our heads. So that was intentionally done.
That's why you make the big bucks and I don't.
That's why I'm the guy and the producer. No,
I get to stay in the dark.
Yeah, you get to stay in the dark. It's because you're grounded, remember?
Yeah, I got
all that Karen Nicole stuff.
Yeah, because I said,
because you kept saying, bitch. Fire bitch.
Fire bitch. It's bad.
You know, even when your parents visit, I guess you can get grounded. Everyone in the chat, TJ James, Apex Comics, that guy Frankie, Mandy Summers, always
less than 3, Mandy, less than
Junkie
3.
Heretic, Lee, Brash Smurf, everyone out there. If I didn't say your name, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for subscribing. I have seen some new subscribers pop up. Remember to follow us on Twitter, everything we have going on. Tomorrow night is going to be a great freaking night. For those that don't know, it's going to be incredible. Two of my dearest friends in comics, Mr. Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan, are going to be on the show, along with Richard C. Meyer, as you may know as your boy Zach, who does awesome videos on YouTube. You got to check out his channel. He's also become he's starting to really develop a career in a I would say more of a mainstream comic. You know, Chuck Dixon has worked with Sylvester Stallone to write the new Expendables comic. And we're going to have this team on. Now, for those that don't know, you know, obviously getting Sylvester Stallone on would be incredible, and I'm trying. I am trying.
Which is crazy. Which is crazy to say that you're actually trying and you're and you're close. Like you're closer than anybody else, I think.
As close you can get. I mean,
Yeah,
it's really now the publicist either coming back saying, yeah, sure, it's going to cost this much, or yeah, sure, he'll do it, or or no, thank you, or maybe we don't get a response. Who knows?
Your tenacity is at 11.
Yes. And it was a viewer and a fan of the show that helped me procure that information I needed to even reach out to Sly's publicist. Because I mean, celebrities of that level, you can't get them personally. You got to get to the publicist. You got to get to the agents and stuff like that. And if we can, cross your fingers, maybe we'll get a response. If not, you're not going to be missing out, because it's going to be a hell of a story when we found out how this even came to be. I mean, Blevins, think about it. Like, you're a writer. You're Chuck Dixon, right? And all of a sudden, it's like, hey, you're going to work with Sly Stallone, man.
Like your phone rings. It's like, hey, what's up, Chuck? It's Sly Stallone.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Hey, let's do a book. I mean, come on. Like, amazing, I want you to help. I don't know, dude. And I'm a fan of the movies, and now it's carried on into my other favorite medium. So, dude, I think tomorrow night it's going to be good. I told Billy, I said, Billy, hang on, and sorry, I'm not really looking at the screen, but I want to get the Indiegogo up here. I'm talking to Billy, and I'm like, dude, you definitely have to be on the show. I know you're sick, but freaking pump yourself up with something, because we need you to you got to be part of this interview. And those that don't know, Billy has a part in the project.
Now, can I tell you that I think that Crowdfunding Comics has one of the greatest audiences that I have ever seen on any of these, talk show type live channels. I mean, like, we got like the best people.
Oh, definitely. It's because they're our friends, man. They've, it's not even just having an audience. Like, we've got like our friends come and join us to do this show.
They're all hyped with us.
They're hyped with us. They look forward to it. And I mean, you can't complain. You can't beat that,
Yeah.
You just can't. Expendables. That's funny when you try to spell it, isn't that? I like cameras.
You're learning.
I'm learning. It's because I'm not logged in on this browser. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Patience is a virtue. Boom. Here we go. The Expendables Go to Hell graphic novel. I haven't watched the video. Have you watched the video?
I have not seen the video. I was just thinking.
Should we watch the video, everyone?
Dude, I'm down.
All right, everyone sit down. Crisscross applesauce.
Mandy, get out the popcorn.
Can't say what it is. Mandy, get out some popcorn. Let's play the video. Here we go.
TJ, you shut your mouth.
The show. Let's play another Crowdfunding Comics video.
Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and this is the promotional video for the new.
Stopping. It's 13 minutes long.
Oh my god.
We are not doing that. But
that's legit. That's legit movie time.
Yeah, that's a movie time. Order now. Let's see if any images change. Order now. Nope. Order now.
I'm getting the idea that we need to
order now. But well, we can still eat popcorn. Who wants to watch a pizza review? I've been watching Barstool like crazy. One bite, everyone knows the rules. One bite. Blevins,
one bite. Just one bite.
One bite, everyone knows the rules. So, anyways, they're up to 76,000. That's crazy. I think earlier today they were at 60. That's like another about $8,000 since I last checked, with 26 days to go.
Yeah, I wonder if Sly Stallone putting this on his Instagram had anything to do with that.
Maybe. I mean, honestly, I would project this book, because Sly is a co-writer on it, and with the background of this story, man, I would expect this book to hit like 6 figures. Like, this thing should be like 200,000 to 300,000. That would be where I would, if someone told me about this and I saw it and right before it got funded, that's where I would be guessing it. But we'll talk about that more tomorrow night. I don't want to give much away, but if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. It's cool.
Yeah, it's going to be
all this art done by Graham Nolan, Chuck Dixon. Who's Graham Nolan, Chuck Dixon? I don't know. Creators of Bane, one of Batman's nemesis.
Nemesis's?
That's right, Mandy Summers. That's right. 250. 250 for sure. That's 250K. Not $250, guys.
It's gonna happen.
Insane. A slight autograph tiers gone. That would be 25K alone. Oh.
Wow.
I don't know. Interesting. But yeah, man, the art's sick. I love Graham stuff.
Man, is this like one of the first like books like this that the idea has came from the actor or the creator of the movie? Like,
I don't know. I have no clue. I can't answer that question. I would say if someone said I had to guess, I would say probably not.
yeah, I'm just trying to think of any that, I can't think of any right now.
No.
Dude,
But
did
pretty
you see
sick.
did you see Chuck Dixon's Facebook where he was like saying that he's watching all the movies because he's been drawing Slice Stallone so much, and he's like,
Oh, you mean Graham?
Top Land is
Graham.
amazing. Oh yeah, what did I say? Chuck Dixon. Sorry.
Yeah, you said Chuck Dixon.
Yeah, sorry. Graham Nolan is what I was talking about.
Graham.
Graham
his name?
Nolan is Graham Nolan. He's
It's
the best.
Graham Nolan.
I'm pretty sure it's Graham.
It's Graham.
No, like Graham crackers.
No, it's Graham. There's no
Oh,
Y.
God.
There's no
Oh,
Y.
okay.
The color gray ham. You're saying gray
Graham
ham.
Nolan.
He's
Graham
not gray
Nolan.
ham. He's Graham.
I think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong. And now I'm
Like,
an
look,
awkward.
I have a
silence.
giant
Hits.
sign right here that clearly shows, like, obviously you can't
Frank
see it.
Amazing. Is it gray ham or Graham?
Graham.
You can't ask somebody who's like married to a member of your family.
You leave my
That's
stepdad alone. No.
That's like nepotism.
Hi guys, sorry I'm late. Heron Burr.
I'm pretty sure it's Graham Nolan.
It's not Graham. It's Graham. I hear Graham modeled Satan after Bo Smith. No, he didn't. How dare you? I can't afford it. Just curious. Wait, is there really? Did I miss it? Is there like a signature?
Yeah.
Tier. That's how much is it?
It says $1,000.
1,000 bones.
Yep.
So that's just Stallone signed book. $1,000. That's 9% off. There must be a sale going on. Wow, original art is sold out.
Wow.
Damn.
That's three.
Man, this is gonna. I mean, it's kind of next level.
It is cool though.
Yeah.
Yes, Mandy heard Frank. Frank of the Amazings.
Frank, amazing.
Do you like Picard? I just saw that because I see this right here.
Man, I thought the first issue was really good, or the first issue. See, I thought
Graham. It's Graham. See, Graham
from Apex Comics.
Yeah, Apex Comics. He's no fool, man. That's an intelligent gentleman right there. Boom.
Like he probably got that from that.
Graham or Graham? Oh no! Now Mandy just brought it to another level.
Yeah, it's Graham. Graham Nolan.
It's not Graham. That's like driving me nuts. That's driving me nuts. Go have a yo play. Go have one of those go-gurts, and think about what you're talking about. Think about and ponder what you're saying right now. Unbelievable. Blevins, my friend.
Yes,
Blevins, my friend. What a great show.
Yeah,
it's so sad that once Billy's back, I can't talk to you anymore.
We can still talk.
No, we can't anymore. Because they'll be like, you can't talk to Blevins.
Like don't do like I'll say Graham, like just stay.
He'll be like your friendship is like a pixie stick, like pixie sticks to an innocent youth. You know, they can't get enough. You know, we just can't get enough of the Blevins on the air.
I don't want to go though, Nile. Like I'll say Graham, just don't make me go.
Yeah, it's fine. What do you think, people? Should this be the last time we ever see Blevins?
Ever?
Next week on Crowdfunding Comics, will the Blevins return? Or will it be thrown to the wolves like a graham? Like a graham. I don't know where I was going with that. I was thinking of the dogs. What are those greyhounds?
Yeah,
Greyhounds. Greyhounds doesn't work. All right. I think my time is done.
Yeah.
It's
All
done.
right. Yeah, my time is done. All right, everyone. Thank you so much again. Tomorrow night, we are going to, I always do that. Thank you so much and clap. My own applause. Thanks so much. And yes, we will have an amazing show tomorrow night, 9 p.m. And shit, it's going to be a good one, dude.
It is going to be a great
I don't even know. Like, I'm probably just going to forget that I'm supposed to ask questions. I'll just be sitting here listening. I'll just mute my mic and you'll just hear like I'll be like crazy stuff, and we'll laugh like Muppets. You know, just simple things. But anywho, I'm getting the cue. It's time to go. Everyone have a great night.
Thanks
Mandy,
for having me on the show. Also, thanks, chat. You guys are awesome.
hashtag kick Blevins.
Blevins, that's hilarious
Yeah, I don't
laughing.
think so.
Because it's hilarious.
Yes, and if you get a chance,
I'm not
head over to
professional,
Facebook
I'm just a fanboy.
and like the heroin burr. Boop, boop, boop. All right, everyone, have a great night. We'll see you. I'm
Good
done.
night.
I'm done. Night, TJ. Stop drinking. Life's worth living.
Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into Crowdfunding Comics. We look forward to hanging out with all of our crowdfunding fans every time we go live. And don't forget to click the link below and subscribe to our channel. And there's a little bell. You may want to hit that too. This way you get all the great notifications when we go live and when we upload some awesome content. You want to follow us? Sure, go right ahead at Twitter at CrowdFundComics with an X, Instagram Crowdfunding Comics, and Facebook at Crowdfunding Comics. Till next time, crowdfunding fans, we'll see you soon.